Happy Friday, my friends. I'm excited. Today is going to be a good day. I have an unexpected tattoo appointment, so of course I'm going to show you. Tune in to my stories and I'll show you what's happening there. Sneak peeks. But Fridays is also the day where I go live to chat with you about all things body love, self-image, confidence, and joyful movement. So today is a topic that I feel like doesn't get discussed as openly as it should, because it's something that may make us feel awkward or uncomfortable or self-conscious, and that is the reality of movement in a larger body. So this might be the aches or pains that come along with it, changes with weight gain in your abilities, whether that's flexibility, cardiovascular endurance, or strength, and just some of the modifications and changes that we can do to movement in order to make it accessible for different body types. You know, I know firsthand that the fitness industry is definitely geared towards people who are already in small bodies. And it's kind of this weird, hypocritical narrative where you're shamed for being in a larger body, but the gym and the fitness environment is not exactly a welcome place that's set up to help you get moving, even though they say that's what you're supposed to do. So I want this to be a really safe space this morning where if you have questions, I don't care how awkward or uncomfortable you think that they might be, know that this is a totally judgment-free space. We can talk about some of the nitty-gritty realities of maybe body parts that need to be moved or that get in the way or need to be shifted or lifted up or lowered down or whatever it is. We will talk about it. And we'll also talk about some of the helpful self-reflection and self-talk that we can use to build our confidence and to make it feel more accessible for us. How does that sound? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever struggled with this. I would love to know. Either give me a heart or leave a comment below. You know I love when you engage with me and tell me all the things. And yes, Devin, yay for tattoos. This fall I'm gonna get a lot of new artwork, so I'm very, very excited. All right, so I got this question actually first asked to me. Like, we've done in the Loyal Book community, we've done some courses. Like, for example, we have a yoga for larger bodies video. Highly recommend if you haven't checked it out yet. It's in our on-demand library. You can rent it if you're not a member. Otherwise, it's included if you're a member. But I got this specific question in the Undiet Your Mind app that I'm an expert in. I asked for people's feedback. I'm like, as you're trying to apply the undieting philosophies to your life, you may know how to do it with food, but how does that fit into fitness, and where are you still struggling? And one of the questions was like, how do I deal with the aches and pains and movement challenges that come along with either weight gain or being in a larger body? And I thought, what a freaking fantastic topic. Let's break it down. So the very first most important question to kind of sit with and reflect on is, what is your story or beliefs around modification options, requiring modification options, maybe feeling pain or uncomfortableness with movement, and using supportive props? Because most of the time, it's not necessarily the aches, pains, or movement experience itself that's the most challenging part. It's the meaning that we give to it. So it's not just that, I feel like my stomach gets a little bit squished in a forward fold. It's that we say to ourselves, my stomach feels a bit squished. It's because I'm fat. It's because my body isn't meant to do this. It's because, and we start all that shame script of telling ourselves, how not worthy we are and how bad our body is. So that is the first thing to reflect upon, is what meaning are you giving the pain or the discomfort, or even what meaning are you giving the realities of being in your body? What is the story that you tell yourself and some of the feelings and emotions that come up? So that's the first part, because we really want to normalize and use our self-talk to normalize that all movement is good movement. So that means making the movement feel good, whatever that means for your body, and not shaming yourself for what's required to get to that point. So that means asking questions, vocalizing your discomfort. So this means that when you're taking a class, whether it's watching a video or live, with instructors like in the yoga community, being able to say, hey, this doesn't feel great, and letting us know why it doesn't feel great. Because often, especially, you want to be in a community, ideally, that you can build that relationship with your instructor. You can build that relationship with your trainer of, once you tell them what's happening in your body and they're aware of it, then they can help modify specifically for your body without you even asking. And what's even better is if you can find a community where part of the ethos is talking about things openly without you even necessarily needing to ask about how to modify for different bodies. Like, I'll often say cues like, you can move your belly out of the way, or spread your legs wider, or things like that. But questions and vocalizing your discomfort is a great way to start to, even if it feels uncomfortable, to start to allow yourself to take up space, to start to remove the shame from making movement look different. And that includes using things like props, whether that's a chair, yoga blocks, bolsters, using the different options that are provided, and not placing yourself in this shame box where unless movement looks a certain way, it's either not valuable, or you're not valuable, or you're doing it wrong. Movement is such a personal experience, and if it feels good for your body, if you're experiencing the benefits of it, that's all that matters. And fuck looking like anybody else. We're not all supposed to look the same, whether it's on the mat or lifting weights or whatever. It's about making sure that you're able to experience movement that feels really good in your body, and that does require us to take up space and to ask for what we need, and to find communities that really welcome that sort of conversation and support you in that process. Another thing that's really important to do is to understand that a lot of the aches and pains are temporary. Excuse me. Apparently I needed to yawn. So what I mean by that is, and actually I had a great conversation with one of our members, I think it was last week, where we were talking about how movement doesn't feel as good right now because she took a little bit of a break from classes, a little bit of a break from movement, and now she's kind of bringing it back into her schedule and her routine. And as someone who suffers from chronic pain, that doesn't feel good to start, because the body is stiff, or it may cause some pain flare-ups, or it may just feel uncomfortable as well, right? Like, I've spoken to some people who find it a really anxiety-provoking experience to get short of breath, to start to feel, their heart rate increase and their blood pumping, especially if it's not something we're used to. That can be an uncomfortable experience. So we can use our self-talk to recognize that it's temporary, and the more that we remain consistent with the movement, the more that the pain will be reduced, the more that the aches will disappear, and the more that the uncomfortable will become comfortable. You know, it's just like when you're trying anything new, things will be uncomfortable to start, but you got to kind of allow yourself to get past that initial discomfort to really see the benefits. So if we can use our self-talk to remind ourselves that it's temporary, that you can do hard things, that there is another side to this, that's a really powerful mindset shift to make as well. And part of that is the importance of understanding the difference between good pain and bad pain. So this is something, again, that's really unique to everyone's bodies, and it's a learning and discovery process. So there's bad pain, which is signaling your body like, this does not feel good, I need to stop, we're making things worse. So that often feels like sharp sensations, or, you know, something that makes you physically say, ow, or at least think it. And the pain that, you'll know it. Everybody has a line where they're like, that's no-go zone. We're going to back away from that pain. But there is the sort of pain that's a good pain. And I want to be clear that I do not mean this in the like no pain, no gain, you know, propaganda bullshit. We're talking about the good pain where I look at it as like a deep tissue massage, right? A deep tissue massage in the moment may make you go, ooh, and it might feel really intense or uncomfortable, but we know that it's actually good pain because we're helping to release knots, we're helping to relax the body, we're working through those knots and the tension in the body, and that we feel better afterwards. So that's the sort of pain that we can be okay with, that we can use our breath, that we can use our self-talk to recognize that it has a purpose, that it's uncomfortable now, but again, we're going to get over that hump, and if we allow ourselves to sit in the discomfort, then we'll feel better afterwards. And actually, I just went to the I've been reading a lot about cold water therapy because we're currently showering outside and have no heat in our water, and this is something that's really similar, right? Like the when you first get into cold water, it's like, oh my god, this is awful, this feels awful, this feels so intense, I hate it, I just want to get out. But we can work with our breath and work with our bodies to say, you know what, while this is uncomfortable, while this doesn't feel great, I'm okay. It's not actually doing me harm. There's a window where it's going to do me good and it's going to feel better afterwards. But we have to be open to sitting in that discomfort, sitting in that, you know, that good pain in order to see the other side. Oh, and thank you, Emma. She says that the instructors at Loibo are very supportive when it comes to modification and normalize it. This is something I haven't felt elsewhere, so thank you. You're welcome. And it's so true that it's not. Even as an instructor, when I'm taking others instructors' classes, I will often be left wanting more, be left saying, you know, what about this? Not sometimes both on behalf of myself and also on behalf of other people in the class. You know, we want to normalize the fact that movement looks different ways in different bodies, and that's not a bad thing. Even though you may have been made to feel like it's a bad thing in the past, that's part of what's wrong in the fitness industry and what we're trying to work towards changing. So, in finishing off this discussion about pain, the third point that's really important is also to honor your body and the pain and the sensations that come with it. So what this means is exactly the phrase I just referenced, the like no pain, no gain mentality. We want to like give the finger to that and be like, This is the idea that things are a process, that our bodies change on a day-to-day basis, that sometimes what we're able to do one day ends up being in the bad pain, the no-go zone on another day. So it's about really building and working on having that connection with your body where you can ask those questions and say, does this feel okay right now? And if the answer is yes, then proceeding. And if the answer is no, allowing yourself the space to back off. Allowing yourself the space to choose something different. And not shaming yourself for that. It's like I often say with food that like a single meal or snack will not make or break your health. A single class or a week of classes or a month of classes where you're taking extra breaks or, you know, not doing things that you might like to do, again, will not make or break your fitness journey. Our bodies go through, and especially if you're a woman who has a menstrual cycle, this is 100% true where different types of movement will feel better or worse. You'll feel more motivated to do them or not, depending on where you are in your cycle. And the more that we can honor that, we're going to take out the friction that exists. So often we try to shame ourselves and punish ourselves in order to get motivated. And it's like when you want to, like, if you want a child to make the bed, the most efficient way to get them to want to make the bed is not to yell at them or shame them. It's about making it fun. It's about encouraging them. It's about having them understand and see the value of making the bed. Side note, I don't make my bed. So we want to hold space to recognize that, you know, fitness and health is a long-term thing. It's okay to experience movement differently in different periods of time and in different periods of our life. Devin loves the cold water analogy. Yes. Also puts me in the mind of a medical wash I had to use several years ago where I had to let it sit unrinsed on my body for 10 minutes after applying. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing for a lot of like medical treatments, right? Like I think of, I had to get a mole removed off of my foot. The actual mole removal was fucking horrible. It was so painful. And I had weeks of recovery where I wasn't walking properly. But in that one, it was much easier for me to understand that this is part of the process and I will be better for it. And so it was easier for me to sit in the discomfort. Oftentimes, because of that first point, because of the meaning that we give it about ourselves, about, you know, again, it's not just that I can't do this movement or this movement feels uncomfortable. We add on the other layers which make it so much harder to sit in, that I can't do this movement because my body is crap. I can't do this movement because I'm not good enough. I can't do this movement because I'm fat and lazy. It's those other layers that really make it uncomfortable to sit in that ache or pain or uncomfortable situation. So this is why it's kind of twofold. It's understanding the nature of the discomfort and understanding and becoming aware of the story that we're telling ourselves and trying to change how we view it. Asking for help, asking for support, honoring our body's needs, and recognizing that movement can look different every single day. And that's okay. It's okay. And then another big part of that, going along with the cold weather analogy, this is where using your breath can be an amazing way to do this work. Connecting with your breath, focusing on your breathing, and continuing to tune inward to say what's happening in my body. Without judgment, without assigning that meaning, just with that curiosity mindset of asking ourselves how our body's feeling, what it needs, and how you can show up to support it. So let's normalize asking for help. Let's normalize using supportive props. Let's normalize, you know, taking breaks and opting out. And this is the best part of being virtual, is that it can feel really uncomfortable, right? It can kind of put a spotlight on you. If you're in a class with 20 people and you're the only one doing something different, it can feel super ick. But when you're at home, it's just you. So you won't feel nearly as self-conscious. And it's almost like you have this protective bubble where nobody's going to really notice if you're the only one doing it that way. And well, who cares first? But it also takes some of the pressure and spotlight off, which is the little extra benefit of being virtual and being able to do it at home. So a few ways that you can start to build this in is that you want to find the right support. As Emma said, find a community where it's normalized to be in a bigger body, where it's normalized to ask for modifications, where modifications are shown and presented to you, where it's a safe, taboo-free space to say, hey, I got a big belly, how can we work this into downward dog? Or, you know, my arms, you know, need a little bit of extra support, how can I modify this movement? Or, you know, I'm brand new to exercise and feeling cheered on and encouraged and supported. And you really want to ideally also find real life examples of people who have a body like yours that openly enjoy movement. So one of my favorite people who does this is Alicia McCarville on Instagram. She regularly shows herself in the gym and doing jumping ropes and skipping without the goal of losing weight. She's just in a bigger body, enjoying movement and loving the way that it feels for her body. So that's an excellent, excellent example. So seek out those people. Either find them in the community that you're in, so other members that are peer-to-peer, or find them on the beautiful, wonderful world of the internet and social media. Yes, virtual classes do make it much easier to modify, especially because you have stuff at home, right? Like you have the chairs, you have the cushions, you have pillows, you have blankets. You can just grab them and have them nearby rather than like lugging them all to the studio. And Devin wanted to say, and waiting that 10 minutes also became something I actually enjoyed by the end because it extended my usual 5 to 10 minute showers and let it actually become an extended time for myself. Yes, Devin. So often the things that we avoid, the things that we're most afraid of, the things that start feeling super fucking uncomfortable end up being really powerful, magical experiences if we allow ourselves to get over that hump. Often we're really good at thinking of the question or thinking of the examples of the worst case scenario that could happen. That's where the question I love is what's the other possible outcome? What's the best possible outcome? And let's spend a little bit more time focusing on that. And again, so I've got 3 tips here for how to start to actually do this in your movement life. Which is, again, number 1, finding the right support, finding that community that normalizes these sort of conversations, that normalizes larger bodies moving, that normalizes modifications and support. And again, props. Use those props. Give yourself permission. Okay, number 2, focusing on joy. Focusing on how movement makes you feel rather than what it looks like. All right? Something that you find, those things that you look forward to, find those things that make you laugh, that make you smile, that refill your cup, and that allow you to connect to your why. Why are you moving in the first place? Why do you want to move your body? How does it make you feel? And number 3 is, again, using your self-talk to recognize it's all temporary. Our bodies change, our bodies grow. Sometimes we lose weight, sometimes we gain weight. Our bodies change. And you're never going to stay the same forever. You're always going to keep moving forward. Things are always going to be, changing and growing. And there's an acceptance piece of letting that happen, letting it be a journey, not letting yourself get too stuck in the right now. And that's a great time to use your breath. Accepting your body won't stay the same. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's okay. How you feel now won't be how you feel forever. All right, my friends. So there we have it. These are some great tools for reflection and some great real-time strategies for how to make movement more accessible in a larger body. As I said, make sure to check out that on-demand replay that we have, Yoga for Larger Bodies, where 2 of our yoga instructors actually go through a lot of common poses and show you how to move and work with your body and work with props to give you options. And if you want to find out more about how our community can support you in moving in your larger body, book an explore call with us. So you just send us a DM. You can just say the word explore or let us know that you're looking to find out more information. It's a free session with our team, no strings attached, no pushy sales approach, where we'll find out more about you, your body, and your goals, what you're looking for in your self-care journey right now, and we'll answer any questions that you have and let you know a little bit more about our community. Now, since Yoga Fest is tomorrow, I'm going to offer a little little special gift to anybody who's watching this video. So tomorrow at Yoga Fest, we are offering our starter bundles for just $99 plus tax, which is $50 off the normal price. I think I might be doing math wrong. It's a discount. If you are interested in getting that offer, feel free to send us a DM and we'll send you a discount code that you can get started. It's 3 weeks of unlimited access to our community. You can try out the on-demand video that I referenced. You can see how our instructors modify. You can come to the coaching calls. You can meet other members and find out what it is to be a part of the Loyobo family. We would absolutely love to meet you. Let me know what your questions are. Let me know. Yes, Yoga Fest is Sunday. I thought today was Saturday in my mind right then. Thanks, Devin. Yoga Fest is Sunday. In my mind, today was Saturday. Since Yoga Fest is this weekend. Thanks, friends. I usually don't know what day it is. It's a side effect of COVID. I have no concept of time anymore. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in live. Thank you so much for watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, let me know if you have any questions about movement in a larger body. I am here, judgment-free zone. If you're not comfortable asking in a public comment, please feel free to send me a DM. We can always chat over DM, or we can do a free Zoom call where I can jump on with you and we can talk about it. All right, my friends, go out there and be your awesome selves in your larger bodies. Let's take up space, ask for the support that we need, and normalize having these kinds of conversations. All right, my friends, go out there and have an amazing weekend. Bye.